Hello and welcome to News Central Television. I am Likon Onobanjo. The top stories at this hour. 12 reportedly killed as female suicide bomber detonates IED at a food joint in Borno State. Dangote Refinery hikes petrol ex-depot price to 880 naira per litre. Court sentences former Tunisia's president Nasir to 22 years in absentia. Details to come your way shortly. We begin with security matters. At least 12 people have reportedly been killed and 17 others injured after a female suicide bomber attacked a local food joint in Konduga local government area of Borno State. It was gathered that the incident occurred at about 10 p.m. on Friday, leaving several others severely injured. Police sources said the attacker detonated the IED at a food joint. The bodies of the deceased have been deposited in a morgue, while the injured victims were taken to a nearby hospital where they are receiving treatment. A joint security team comprising military and police officers, civilian joint task force, and local hunters has reportedly visited the scene of the bombing. Still in Borno State, more than 10 years after they were forced from their homes by the Boko Haram insurgency, displaced residents of Ashikashia town in Borno State say they are ready to return and resume farming before the next planting season. The decision was made during a community dialogue held in Maiduguri, bringing together members of the Ashikashia and Kirawa communities, as well as Senator Aliun Dume, who represents Southern Borno in the Senate. We'll bring you more details of these particular stories subsequently on the news. Return to talk security. The Kebbi state government has confirmed the loss of 30 lives in the recent banditry attacks on the Zulu communities. Chairman of Zulu and Danko Wasagu local government areas, Mohammed Gajere and Husseini Bena, reported that 16 people were killed in Konduga, while 14 others lost their lives in Kebbi and Yarkuka in the Waje district. While speaking during a visit by Deputy Governor Umar Tafida to Konduga on Friday, Gajere and Bena also said several others were injured. The attackers also made away with livestock and other valuables. Tafida conveyed the government's sympathy during the visit. Now, Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang has expressed deep sorrow over the mob attack in Mangu District, Mangu local government area, which claimed 8 lives on Friday, June 20, 2025. The victims, travelers from Zaria in Kaduna State en route to Kwampan local government area for a wedding, lost their way and were caught up in a volatile situation amidst ongoing terrorist attacks in the area. Governor Mutfwang, who visited survivors in the hospital, condemned the violence as senseless as avoidable, extending heartfelt condolences to the government and people of Kaduna State. He assured that the Plateau State government would cover all medical costs for the injured and directed security agencies to investigate the incident thoroughly. A high-level delegation will visit Kaduna to convey sympathies and reinforce Plateau's commitment to peace and hospitality. Still talking insecurity-related stories now, the Ondo State government has proposed a death sentence for whoever is found guilty of kidnapping in the state. This is in a bid to eradicate kidnapping in the state. The Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in the state, Dr. Olukayode Ajulo, disclosed this while speaking with journalists on Saturday after the weekly State Executive Council meeting. It was gathered that the state governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, presided over the meeting. Ajulo said the proposal would soon be transmitted to the State House of Assembly for necessary legislative action. We now go back to the story in Plateau State, the Mangu local government area to be precise, where about 8 people lost their lives in a mob attack. And now we're joined by our correspondent, Chizoba Anyonwe, who will be telling us more about this pretty sad incident. Chizoba, good evening to you. Let's have an understanding of what transpired during the attack.
Welcome to Plateau State. Thanks for having me. It's such a sad incident again on the plateau where people were just trying to grapple with what had happened about 24, 48 hours ago. And then we have another one on our hands, And these people were said to have been coming from Kaduna State to attend a wedding in Kwampan local government area of Plateau State, where they met this incident, very sad one at that, in Mangun district. It's also in Mangun local government area, one of the councils that witnessed the very last attacks in Plateau State, apart from Bokos. And so it's such a sad one that 8 of them have been confirmed killed in this mob action because the angry youth were trying to express their feelings of being angry at what had happened. Besides, this is not a time for reprisals. In fact, if I would quote the former GOC, the immediate past GOC, that's the General Officer Commanding of 3rd Division, that's Major General Abubakar, he had said in one of these stakeholders' engagements that reprisals would not help any of these matters, So the only thing is to find a common ground where people, yes, you have vented your anger, you come out and then let people talk, so that we would know where people would come in and say, okay, this is where you got it wrong, this is where you got it wrong. Now let's look for a common ground to settle these issues. But if you keep on carrying out these reprisals, I mean, you'll just be going around the spec, you just be going around the circle, and it's just continue that way. And so this person says, I am aggrieved, and because of that, I'm going to carry out a reprisal, I'm going to revenge, and then it continues like that. So that is why reprisals and such mob actions are not what people should be looking at. Well, the state governor, Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, has condemned this in totality. In fact, he has said it is madness and shouldn't be seen in this world that we are living in at this age and time, where people, innocent people coming in from another state, not even within the state, and then you cut their lives short because you're angry, because you want to revenge an attack, where these victims knew nothing about. So it is a sad incident, again, in Plateau State.
So what is the situation now in the area where this dastardly act was carried out? And have there been any sort of arrest of anyone who might have been a mastermind behind this?
Well, I spoke with security personnel that wouldn't want his name mentioned earlier in the day. And he said, for now, details are yet to be put together and all those. So no arrest, according to him, has been made. I also tried to speak with the police public relations officer, who wasn't forthcoming with any of such information and all those. But from what we just have on ground, we just have that statement from the state governor condemning these attacks and saying that everything possible will be done to ensure that these perpetrators are arrested and, of course, made to face justice. And this is only the way out where people would learn from such experiences and, of course, try not to go back to it and to do this same thing. If not, this madness, I quote, according to the governor, would continue. It wouldn't stop. So for now, no arrest has been made, but I can tell you for sure that calm and normalcy has returned in the Mangun area, district of Mangun local government area of Plateau State. Thank God there are some survivors. They are recuperating in the hospitals. The governor has already sent his words of condolence to the state governor of Kaduna, and of course the Emirate Council, the Zazao of the Emir of Zazao, And so he also said that he's putting up a high delegation that would go for a condolence visit of the state governor and, of course, the traditional rulers, not leaving out the families of these victims. But he hopes that this kind of situation does not reoccur again, not just on the plateau, but anywhere such incidents happen. I mean, going to carry out a mob action on innocent people does not solve the situation. Rather, it would escalate it. And so he has called for calm, and he has also ordered and instructed the security agencies to go behind those that have perpetrated this crime and, of course, do everything possible to bring them to justice, and that is the only way it will serve as deterrent to others.
Well, this seems to be the second case of wrong profiling and, of course, attacks in as many months in Nigeria. And I know that there have been engagement and dialogue, not only in Plateau, but in some other states to actually stem this. I'd like to find out, what is it that traditional rulers, what has been their influence, what has been their talk in order to quell such, palpitation, so to speak, or paranoia that we're seeing playing out as a result of incessant attacks in these communities?
Okay, fine. I remember some years back, a few years back, such incidents happened, and what the state governor did, that is, Barrister Simon Lalong, who is now Senator Barrister Simon Lalong, what he did was to order the arrest of all the traditional rulers in the affected communities, ordered their arrest, and of course they were put under the police custody until they provided the people that were behind these attacks. And so such actions, I think, would also help and put them on their toes to ensure that these people, because I mean, they are custodians of law and even security to some extent within their localities, before you have the police and the army and all other security agencies, so they should know who and who did what at a particular point in time, because they have their foot soldiers, they have people that give them information and all those. So if these people are meant to understand their roles in their communities as to the safety of both lives and property of these people living within them, I mean, it will put them on their toes to know that, yes, we have to do everything possible to ensure that everybody lives in peace, everybody goes about their lawful businesses, so that all these attacks, I mean, will not have its place in our communities. So constant engagement. I know that the military here on the plateau, that is under the General Officer Command, the 3 Armored Division, and that is Major General Folosho Oyilola. He has been putting up stakeholders engagements where these traditional rulers, religious leaders, and other government agencies, even the civil society activists, all come together from time to time, from local government areas to the others, to ensure that people come together, speak their minds on what they think are the major causes of these incidences that are not welcome in our societies, and forge a way forward. So he's been behind all this, and it is a prayer of everyone that it is sustained. It has been the tradition, both before he assumed duty, taking over the mantle of leadership from Major General Abdulsalam Abubakar. And so he has continued with that trend, and we hope it continues, so that people will continue to have a safe place to put their demands on the table, while people believe that they will be handled very well in a way that it will bring succor to people and entirely to wipe away all these incessant killings that are seeming like unabated. I mean, because it's becoming a recurring incident again, which nobody wants.
Well, of course, we hope that all hands will be on deck to see that this does not happen again. Thank you so much, Chizobanyowe, for sharing the updates with us. Let's now go back to Borno State to bring you the story again, where we said more than 10 years after they were forced from their homes by the Boko Haram insurgency, displaced residents of Ashigashia town in Borno State say they are ready to return and resume farming before the next planting season. The decision was made during a community dialogue held in Maiduguri are bringing together members of the Ashigashia and Kirawa communities, as well as Senator Ali Undume, who represents Southern Borno in the Senate. New Central, Sumar Kirawa brings us the story now.
Deserted since 2014, Ashigashia remains a ghost town in Borno State, a shadow of the thriving agrarian community it once was. Once a leading producer of cash crops, its people now live in limbo, struggling to survive in displacement.
We have agreed as a community, under his chairmanship, that is distinguished Senator Ali Ndumi, that we should, as a matter of priority and a must, that we should go back home.
duk sun ga tana suke tare na zallava baka na zallava suke tare bushaha mun baka zingre ko kim da baka na zallava zai tarna yau an tare da bai agza kuba na zinni na zazare nan tare na zaharda mu kemala gurbin gwamnati ne ne wayan roya.
At a joint dialogue in Maiduguri with residents of Kirawa and Senator Alindume, leaders voiced their determination to return home, encouraged by the relative stability that has returned to the region.
Kirawa had been settled for the last 3 years. What we need now is expansion. Our people need to expand. We need houses.
We are calling for our people to come and support our dear ward, Ashigashia and Kirawa. We are requesting government to build or renovate the hospital completely. We are still appealing to government to at least build or construct international market.
The meeting served not just as a declaration of intent, but as a call for urgent government and humanitarian support to make the return possible.
I want to use this opportunity to any philanthropist or any supporter or any sympathizer to help our people resettle. Especially, we don't need money that much if we can have building materials. Because if you see the economic activities that is going on, because that's a major economic artery, between Nigeria and Cameroon especially. Kirawa used to be a bigger link to Cameroon than Banki Town.
Ndume pledged full backing for the resettlement, promising to engage with security agencies to ensure the area is safe enough for people to return. Now, the people of Ashigashia wait with hope and resolve for the moment they can finally go home and rebuild what was lost. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Let's now go on a break on the news. When we return, we'll tell you about the new political party that has come to actually register itself and gain some momentum, even as reactions continue to trail that particular incident. So we'll tell you more in a bit. Talk politics. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has dismissed the formation of a new opposition party, the All Democratic Alliance, calling it a pedestrian joke. In a post on X on Friday, Keyamo said the move was a weak attempt to mimic the 2013 coalition that formed the ruling All Progressives Congress. The proposed alliance includes major political figures such as the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and ex-governors, namely Nasir, El-Rufai and Rotimi Amechi. The group applied for registration with INEC on Thursday, which was acknowledged on Friday. But Keyamo downplayed the initiative as overhyped, saying it lacks backing from existing parties and amounts to a disappointing anticlimax ahead of the 2027 elections. And joining me to talk about this is a press secretary and, of course, the press secretary of the Social Democratic Party in Kogi State, Isaiah Ijele. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the news. We can't hear you. Can you please unmute?
I can hear you.
Okay, yes, we can hear you now. So let's have an understanding of the position of the SDP with the creation of the All Democratic Alliance.
Look, the position of the coalition is very clear. SDP as a party is open for a coalition. And SDP is a political party just like APC and every other parties. But if they are registering a new political party for a better formation of the coalition, I don't think that should give somebody a sleepless night. For him to take to social media to even talk about it alone is a sign of a sleepless night already. There is nothing wrong. Some group of Nigerians, not just some group of Nigerians, stakeholders decided to go with a new party. Let's listen to this. One of the games this present government, the APC, have been playing is creating chaos in political parties. They have infiltrated a lot of these parties. Can you talk of the PDP, even the APC itself, the Labour Party, the MPP, and most of the four first political parties in 2023 general election. Now, the best of them all is the SDP. The coalition having SDP as an alternative is as a result of our, formation, togetherness without internal crisis. There is no political party with a bit of crisis, but SDP is not in that categories of so much issues. We are one people, and you can see the support the national chairman Alhaji Shehu Gaban gave us in Kogi State in 2023 general election. I was in the front of the whole election, and I know the role he played in making sure, in ensuring our victory in that pre-speak. The El-Rufai, Malan El-Rufai, that is one of the front runner of the new party, is a member of SDP. Is a card-carrying member of SDP. And not just a card-carrying member, a stakeholder. So what I think the leadership of the coalition are doing is to create an enabling ground to be able to shoot from all cylinders, to avoid the incumbent infiltrating in all the parties and disorganizing the coalition. You see, there is no every soup that our people say, better soup than money killer, meaning that a good soup must be well prepared. There must be a preparation before it to become soup to eat. And even when it becomes soup, there's going to be another thing to eat with it. So what they are doing is a preparation to ensure a smooth sailing and a safe landing of the coalition. Listen to this. It is very, very disheartening and very laughable for somebody like Festus Keyamo to start mocking the leadership of the coalition. And these are the same people that led to the victory of APC in 2015. You cannot take it out from Malan El-Rufai. You can take it from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, and Amechi. These are the front runners of 2020, 2015 coalition that brought about APC.
Now, hello, Isaiah.
The PDP. He was also speaking and getting today, the labels of the people who formed the APC, and now he's mocking them again, and that is very, very laughable. That is very, very laughable.
Now, Isaiah, I'd like to find out, Atiku Abubakar, of course, I can't actually say represents PDP because we understand the leadership crisis in the party. And of course, Rotimi Amechi is also a floating member, so to speak, politically, I must say. And you've established that Nasir El-Rufai is a card-carrying member of the SDP. But can you categorically help us understand if the party, so to speak, that these figures represent actually back this new coalition of a party that we are seeing in the ADA?
I said it already. The individuals, the leadership of the coalition that are registering the new party, the ADA, are from different political parties. Now, they are creating an enabling ground, a playing field for all the parties to have the best option to go by. Don't forget, it is not yet a coalition. That is not a coalition of all the political parties forming the ADA. Now, it's a coalition of some leaders from different political parties forming that particular party. And these are the people are representing all the political parties. They are not the political party coalition, but they are also the leadership of the political parties representing each of the caucus for different zones. So you cannot rule out that the ADA can be used, that ADC can be used, that the SDP can be used. Any of the political party can be used at the right time. You see, the political parties is just a horse that drives us to the destination of 2027. It is too early to arrive at a destination when the journey has not even begun. Now, we are talking about starting up the journey. We are preparing the ground to hit the ground running. We are preparing the field to hit the ground running. And ADA is going to be another tool to hit the ground running. SDP is another tool. But look, the current government are known for destroying opposition. And they are doing it already. Look at the mass decamp and going into the ruling party. But it will happen in 2015, and Jonathan still lose the election. So it is not about, in fact, some people decamped even to the APC at the dying minute. And some people remain in PDP and worked against the PDP in 2015. So you cannot rule out the game that is playing out. It is going to be a welcoming development. Me as a person, I'm very happy. I know I'm part of the leadership of the SDP, but I'm very happy that another fresh party is coming up along the side. So at the right time, the leadership will weigh in all the pros and cons and all the do and don't and all the...
Isaiah, can you hear me? Isaiah, before I let you go, just one more. Now, it's been said or speculated in some quarters that this coalition, without the support of the Labour Party presidential candidate in the last election, Peter Obi, tagging along, that this coalition, so to speak, or this particular party will be toothless in the 2027 general elections. What's your take?
Peter Obi is a person, and is also representing the movement of the youth, which is the obedient. Wherever Peter Obi is today, obedient will move to that direction. So it is not about the political party, just like I said. It is about the candidate that the coalition are going to, that is going to emerge from the coalition. That will determine the flows of every other person to any political party that they have chosen to go along with. Listen, we have not even close to a primary election yet. Yes, Peter Obi has the crowd, he has the people, and so the other figures in the coalition. And you cannot say, because Peter Obi is not in the new political party, Peter Obi was not in Labour Party prior to 2023 general election. He left PDP at the dying minute to Labour Party, and look at the masses and look at the vote he pulled out in that election. They were calling, I was part of the obedient movement, and they were calling us two people tweeting from their bedroom. At the end of the day, two people that were tweeting from bedroom came out with so many millions of votes. We won the FCT. Two people in one Lagos State, who is the house of the Jagaban, the bedroom of Jagaban. The two people tweeting in a room defeated them in the Jagaban corridors of power. That is what we. So it is not about political, but listen to it. 2027, Nigerians are determined to fight for their future. Nigerians are not looking at SDP. Nigerians are not looking at APC. Nigerians are not looking at a Labour Party. Nigerians are not looking at ADC. Nigerians are not looking at even the new political party that they are about to form. Nigerians are looking for a credible leader that will bear and that understand the pains of the people. They are looking for leaders that will come and wipe away our tears. Nigerians are looking for a leader that will subdue, that will remove the hardship they are currently witnessing. Nigerians are looking for a leader that will fulfill all the promises during the campaign. Are we better than where we were in 2015? So are we better than where we were in 2019? Are we better than where we were in 2015? Are we even better than where we were in 2023 during the general election? The first phase this infliction on the people of Nigeria by this current administration is removal of subsidy. That has caused a lot of hardship, a lot of people lose.
Okay, Isaiah. Before I let you go, Isaiah, just one more question. So we have Rotimi Amici, we have Atiku Abubakar, who was once contested as the president of the country. We have Peter Obi, who's also hoping to vie for that position, and El-Rufai. Now, talking about quality leadership, who do you think has that political mettle and influence to deliver the quality or the dividends of democracy to the people, even as we are gearing towards the election in 2027?
I am not in the position to choose for the coalition.
Well, in your own opinion, anyway, in your own opinion, it's not a political statement, just in your own opinion.
Opinion cannot be made known at the right time. I will be part of the delegate that will thumbprint for whoever that is going to emerge as our candidate. At the right time, I will make known my opposition. But it is too early. We are not heading towards primary. So it will be chaotic for somebody of my position to start telling the follower that this is the person we should go with, or this is the best candidate. No. They are all equal. They are all good to go. I see leaders. I see people who are able. See, look, Nigerians are looking for the people that will rescue power from APC first of all, because since the emergence of APC, Nigeria have never had peace, and it needs for some people who were part of that coalition to form the party to say, no, this is not our dream. This was in the purpose of forming this APC, and we are moving out of our original intent for Nigeria, and we are going to form another political party that will rescue power so we can go on the right track. Glory be to God. We should wait for that formation. We should wait for that time. But it is too early for me to say this is the best candidate, this is the one I want to go with, this is my choice. No, I will not say that. But I know who I will want to be, that I would prefer. Of course, we all have interest of whosoever leadership, or whoever that can pull the trigger. But it is too early to start mentioning any name. I won't be able to do that now. But at the right time, towards that period, when we start gearing towards 2027, when the time of the re-hitting of the politics has begun, you will see something. We will begin.
Of course. And we hope that this new formation will not be infiltrated and have it implode again like we've seen in other opposition parties. But then thank you so much, Isaiah Ijele, for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's now talk energy. Dangote Petroleum Refinery has raised its depot price for premium motor spirits, also known as petrol, to 880 naira per litre. The hike represents a 55 naira increase from the previous rate of 825 naira per litre. National President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Abubakar Shetima, confirmed the development on Saturday. The development comes days after the refinery offered nationwide logistics for petrol and diesel distribution. The refinery said it also acquired 4,000 new compressed natural gas-powered tankers to enhance its fuel distribution capacity across the country. We now understand that the spokesperson for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Femi Shoneye, has resigned. A statement personally issued by Shoneye on Saturday said his resignation was to allow him to focus on personal businesses. According to Shoneye, the move would allow him to spend more time with his family and focus on personal matters that now demand his closer attention. Shoneye also expressed appreciation to his colleagues for their support throughout his 20-month tenure. And I'll tell you that a revised 1.8 trillion naira emergency budget in Rivers State, fresh audit concerns involving the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and the screening of nominees for the South-South and Southwest Development Commissions dominated proceedings at the Nigerian Senate this week. The Central's National Assembly correspondent, Sagir Ibrahim, reports on the key highlights from the Red Chamber.
The Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Emergency Rule has screened the 1.846 trillion naira revised budget for Rivers State. The budget, earlier pegged at 1.48 trillion naira, was increased to accommodate first quarter spending and scale up interventions in infrastructure, pensions, and peace building efforts. At the budget defense session in Abuja, the Rivers State Sole Administrator, Vice Admiral Ibok Eteibas, retired, says that the budget aligns with the state's medium-term development priorities, with over 72% allocated to capital projects. Senate Leader and Committee Chair Okoyemi Bamidele commended the capital-focused outlook and emphasized the need for other states to link budget spending with measurable development outcomes.
The proposed 2025 Rivers State budget is structured to support inclusive development, restore public trust, and deepen socioeconomic reforms. It reflects fiscal responsibility, forward-looking governance, a strong commitment to human capital development, continued infrastructural renewal, dedicated investment in security and institutional integrity during this critical transition period.
Our objective is to ensure that approved funds translate into meaningful development and that deviations or delays are addressed promptly in the overriding public interest.
The ad hoc committee on Rivers Oversight also concluded work screening nominees appointed to various boards and management in the state, including the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, the Rivers State Local Government Service Commission, and the Rivers State Primary Healthcare Management Board. Still in the week, tensions rose as the Senate Public Accounts Committee queried a suspected 210 trillion naira discrepancy in the NNPC Limited's audited reports. The chair of the committee, Aliu Wadada, accused the company of submitting conflicting financials and gave a June 25 deadline for clarification.
The key issues are on the accrued expenses and the receivables. The figure of the accrued expenses are 103 trillion. While the figure of the receivables is 107 trillion.
In a related development, the Senate screened and confirmed nominees for the South-South Development Commission. Lawmakers tasked the board to tackle sabotage, environmental degradation, and regional underdevelopment.
We develop our people, and the bottom line of it is that the Niger Delta have been crying over the years, as all of you are aware, due to underdevelopment, lack of inclusivity, and what have you.
First of all, the region is blessed with natural resources, which is an enabler for crime. So, holistically, we would do entirety of infrastructure in the 6 states. We would look at militancy control. We would also look at environmental control and community development.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Southwest Development Commission also screened President Tinubu's nominees for the board of the commission. The committee, chaired by Yunus Akintunde, emphasized the legacy of the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo as a model for regional growth.
Our vision is to provide adequate oversight functions for the good governance of the Commission to harness the vast potentials of the Southwest region. There will be screening exercise for chairman, MD, and other members of the board.
I'm looking at these commissions as a kind of stopgap and backup, not only to the states, but also as a plank of support for the federal government.
With the kind of decay that we've experienced over the years, I'm not sure that even whatever is given to them now is enough to enhance the development and intensify the rapid development that is necessary.
Final reports from the various committees are expected in plenary in the coming days. In Abuja for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
We'll tell you this. President Bola Tinubu has called on West African nations to end the practice of exporting raw minerals without processing them locally, urging instead for investment in regional value chains, manufacturing and innovation. Speaking on Saturday at the inaugural West Africa Economic Summit held at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center in Abuja, the Nigerian leader stressed the urgency for collective economic transformation across the region. The summit, an initiative of President Tinubu in his capacity as chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, precedes the 67th Ordinary Summit of ECOWAS, scheduled to be held on Sunday at the State House Conference Center in Abuja. President Tinubu warned that intra-regional trade within West Africa remains under 10%, which he attributed not to a lack of political will, but to poor coordination. Coming up on the news, security forces fire shots to break up protests in Libya's capital, Tripoli. We'll tell you more in a short while. Do stay with us. A Tunis court has sentenced exiled former President Nasir in absentia to 22 years in prison for offenses related to terrorism. 4 other defendants, including his former advisor Ahmed Adayami and former head of the National Bar Association Abdulrazak Kelani, were also handed the same sentence. A staunch critic of President Kais Saied, who has been living in France, Marzouki had already been sentenced in absentia to 12 years in prison in 2 separate cases, one involving provoking disorder. The latest ruling came after a press conference held in Paris, during which he, along with Dayani and Kelani, sharply criticized state institutions and members of the Tunisian judiciary. Let's start with our tensions flared in the Libyan capital, Tripoli, as security forces fired into the air to disperse anti-government protesters. The crowd had been marching toward the headquarters of the Libyan Government of National Unity, voicing anger over corruption, worsening living conditions, and political deadlock. Demonstrators were reportedly chanting against both Prime Minister Abdelhamid Deiba and the broader political class, demanding fresh elections and accountability. No injuries were immediately reported, but footage shared online showed security units blocking roads and pushing back demonstrators as tensions escalated. In other continents, we tell you that emergency crews have been deployed to Ramat Gan, just outside Tel Aviv, after an Iranian missile struck the central Israeli town. Paramedics say 36 people were injured in the attack. The strike marks a dangerous escalation in the ongoing confrontation between Iran and Israel, with hostilities now reaching deeper into civilian areas. Footage from the scene shows buildings with shattered windows, debris-strewn streets, and medics attending to the wounded. Authorities say a full damage assessment is still underway as tensions continue to rise in the region. In sports, Nigeria's table tennis star Quadri Aruna has been knocked out of the WTT Star Contender Tournament in Slovenia. The 14th seed and Africa's top-ranked player fell to Japan's Shusuke Togami in a 5-set match. Togami, ranked 30th in the world, won 3-2 after a closely contested 45-minute battle at Ljubljana's Hala Tivoli. Aruna started strongly, taking the opening set 11-8, but Togami fought back to win sets 2 and 3 before Aruna leveled the match. In the decisive 5th set, the Japanese player pulled away late, winning 6 of the final 7 points. The upset sends Togami into the round of 16, where he will face second seed Tomakazu Arimoto. Meanwhile, world number 1 Hugo Calderano of Brazil advanced with a straight sets victory. Boxing superstars Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford will clash on September 12 in Las Vegas for the super middleweight title. The fighters met at a press conference in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, to promote what's being billed as one of the biggest fights of the year. Canelo expressed his excitement about making history, as the Mexican champion believes this will be one of his best performances. Crawford sees this as his moment to shine. Crawford called out Canelo as the last great fighter from boxing's golden era, alongside Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Both fighters appear confident heading into September's showdown. And that's all at this hour, but then we look at our top stories before we go. 12 people have been reportedly killed as female suicide bomber detonated IED at a food joint in Borno State. Dangote Refinery has increased petrol ex-depot price to 818 naira per litre. We also told you that a court has sentenced former Tunisia's president, Nasir to 22 years in absentia. Do remember that you can send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen, and you can also follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Also, watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274. You can equally watch us on Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.